Somebody please give us a name.
Father, we thank you for allowing us to meet today. Father, we lift up the council as they talk about the business of St. John. We pray for your guidance. We pray for your Holy Spirit. And Father, we pray for the business and decisions to go quickly so they can make their later appointments. Be with each one, Father. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Consent agenda, John.
Okay, approve the regular minutes of the regular meeting on April 15, 2008. Appropriation ordinance 050608 in the amount of $81,508.76. Request for late closing for the South Branch on May 23rd, 24th, and 31st. To appoint Jim Lakely as Director 2 as opposed to the alternate in case of board of directors. And approve the request to use bus overnight. It's submitted to you in your packets.
Who's that for?
The church, Methodist Church.
Memphis.
Under the agenda consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Citizen comments. Is there any citizen comments this evening? The city looks nice after all the winter took that night. And all the junk. Administration, John.
Okay, the approval of the resolution number 737 for a 457 deferred compensation plan. In the past, we've had an ICMA. Danny was the last person that we've had on that, and the only one since Jeff left. We've had a gentleman come in and spoken with some of our employees. Before any of them can actually sign up and use this, we have to pass this resolution.
I guess I was curious, why this company? I mean, did you look at others?
ICMA hasn't been around since, I mean, they haven't even come to visit them. He came in and asked to talk to people. I didn't look at other companies, no.
That's security benefit life. They do a lot of taking over. This is the first time we've brought this to our attention.
We've had a plan in the past with a different company
Right.
that hasn't been around, and we only have one employee on it, and it's the employee that's, last day is Friday, so. And that company just hasn't been around to even show any interest at all, so. And I really don't know for sure how many of our employees are interested in it, but it is for our younger people getting started, it would be a good savings situation for them.
I don't believe it costs us anything.
No. It's just a deduction and an expenditure through payroll.
Well, I move we adopt resolution 737.
You have a second?
This is no additional expense to the city at all. It's strictly an employee job thing.
Yes.
Is there any outside paperwork that the city's going to have to do? Is it going to cost us more money to do this for the employees?
We already have a plan that we would have to do a membership application is all.
Is that going to be up to you to do that?
Through our payroll, just like all of our other forms that we would do for the state and the federal. And
You would have a payroll deduction for payroll.
well, yeah. Just like we are right now with ICMA. It would just be a two-different company.
Was there a problem with the ICMA other than he not being here?
And we don't have anybody enrolled with them anymore. He hasn't come around to enroll anybody, so.
What's the cost of the plan for employees? Or what percent are they going to pay for the administration of this, do you know?
No. Do you He did, I do remember him speaking about that, but I don't recall what the amount is.
We don't have anybody enrolled in it.
Well, they can't enroll
Yeah,
unless
so
this is
you-
passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you've had the plan prior, no?
We had a plan prior, and nobody came around to explain that to our employees or anything. And so nobody enrolled in it because they didn't know what it was.
All right.
Now we have a company that wants to explain all this to our employees and get them enrolled. It's a chance for them to have a deduction out of their paycheck that will go into this company, and they would invest it. It's a savings plan, it's a savings and investments.
And that will be discussed while they're on city time, right?
You mean,
When they talk to the employees, or is that something they're gonna do on their own?
they talked to the whole group of employees already. We used break time, and it took a little longer than break, but
I'm just guessing, but once they do enroll in that, then they're probably gonna want the city to match what they take
no,
out
no,
of
no, no,
check.
no, never.
Anything?
No, that's not even an option.
Okay.
It's simply a pass-through. It's just pass-throughs the payroll. We deduct it from their salary, and we cut a check to them. And like everything else, everything's going electronic, so, even a check may not even be necessary.
So how many employees are interested?
We had, I don't know how many of your guys, but I think there's probably, I would say probably 3 or 4 would be for sure interested. Because we have a young staff, I think that personally, if I would have had that maybe at that age, I would have thought about doing something like that.
Well, most of these things they can do, on their own.
The 457 is specific to governmental units. The school has their own something else, but 457 is specific to government.
Why is this so much better than having individual savings?
Because it's invested. It's in I'm not real.
Consider tax
So you-
deferred.
Your wife can't get to it. That's what I'm saying.
And you pay taxes on it when you take it out, not when it's right now.
I know that's the other way around. I don't want tax to take that out. I wouldn't mind tabling it for whole business, and if we can't get a second, then whatever the mayor wants to do.
Does it cost the city anything?
No, not a penny, no.
Okay.
It's up to him.
Resolution 7.
I just need
We'll
a
need a
second.
second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any more discussion?
Yeah, I think we should vote for it, because there's no reason not to.
It's the employee's choice if they want to do it. If they don't want to do it, fine. It's not going to cost us anything. Is there any more discussion?
Yeah, it is costing the city something because we got to issue another check. It's taking her time to do it.
I think things
It's
like
very
this,
minimal.
I think like things like this, it would have been nice if they had been brought to us and discussed before maybe the meeting was held. I'm just saying in a general sense, I think it would have been better if we could have had some input, but,
I agree.
I'm all for people saving and investing and whatever.
I guess I was just thinking, since we already had a plan in place, by just switching companies was not a major ordeal.
Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.
No.
Is there any questions for John this evening? Thank you, John. Administration, Mel?
Yeah, just as John had mentioned, and I know I contacted all of you, Danny Park Carr has resigned his position as water and wastewater foreman, and his last day will be this Friday, May 9th. So Danny's been a good employee, and we're going to miss him. Thank you for your service. We're going to be advertising in the League Government Journal and some papers to try and obtain a replacement. The next thing I had was a request for an executive session for 10 minutes for acquisition of real estate, includes the council, myself, mayor, John, and city attorney.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Call the council meeting back to order.
The other item I had on there was some information on the south well. I don't know if you recall that it's been inactive because the remediation is going on down at the power plant because of the leak. And we had done the state required samples being taken, and we had received a high nitrate reading on that. And we haven't been using that well, so no one in the town has been, had that water into the system. But the question still remains, is this a localized problem with this well, or we maybe have to go off and do an off-site drill like we did over here at the West Well a number of years back. So I would like to proceed to do some testing on that, as far as some more nitrate testing. And Clark Well said they could do test drill down there, and we can isolate that well and do a free flow out of that well. And because one of the statements that was made, we talked to the state and Clark Well, after that's run for a while, it could stand up, but we need to know where we're at on this so we can proceed with our plan in the future on this. The other thing in that well house, it's got a steel pipe that comes up to the floor, and it's getting pretty corroded. It's not cast iron or ductile iron or anything. It's actually steel, and it shows signs of leaking, and it kind of, it's getting bad, and it's kind of rusted itself back closed right now, but at some point or another it's going to let go. So that needs to be redone, and all this other test drilling and testing and everything, to have that done is $8,375. When we redo that pipe coming up out of the floor, we would do the testing first to see what our options are on the nitrates down there, and if we're going to do another well off-site. But if we redo that pipe up through there, we would relocate that so that we could come into that well at a different place to feed it from. Right now the well is right in the building, and we would change the piping in there to come in at a different place so we could feed from another well, if that's what it is. But we would do the nitrate testing first to see our options. So we can do that, and I come back to you and let you know what that is, and then we can make a decision. But at some point or another, we need to get that floor, or that pipe coming up out of the floor.
Who does your nitrate testing now?
Well, the state does, but we can get a local lab do it. We'll probably, they said they would take it like 3 or 4 different, when we do this test bore, like at about 4 different levels in the aquifer, they'll test and see, where we're at, if any of the nitrate. We could be in a flume of nitrates coming in, which is something that if we find that there, we could drill another well off to the test well off to the side, and we may be out of that flume. So it's just going to take some research to find out what our options are right now. Right now, we don't have a well that we can use. We can if we notify our customers we have high nitrates, but we've chosen not to use that because of that, and because there is a possibility of drawing from that leak down there. We could draw into that, but we're not going to run that long, so it shouldn't get back there. You want me to just go ahead and do the testing and find out where we're at on the nitrates? We can do that first. Is it first step. And irregardless if we're gonna sell water out of that well, that's where our bulk water is, we need to get that pipe redone.
Yeah, I'd do more.
Pardon?
Tests. I'd say.
Do the testing first,
Test
see where we're
first.
at. All right, that's it, thank you. Unless you had something for me.
Any questions for Mel this evening? Thank you, Mel. Police Department, Sunny?
Mayor, I need a 10-minute executive session for attorney-client and employee. Need the council, the mayor, city clerk, city attorney, and myself, and Sergeant Sailor.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Which one do you like? That's fine.
Okay.
Call the meeting back to order. Jim?
Yes, I'd like to ask the clerk to read the suggested motion that we're going to make.
Move to allow standby pay to be paid to all police officers, each pay period at the time that we're covering the 24-hour protection with 4 police officers.
Yeah, that's so moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.
Do
Do you have anything? What?
we need to move?
I need,
It's for
the other thing I explained to you is the school for Aaron Rudy.
Right.
Shouldn't, does the county have to do that certification also?
I don't know whether Jeff has or not, but they're supposed to. They're supposed to have a certified
Well, that's what I was
fireman.
thinking, maybe we could get the county to pay for half the schooling or something.
We can check on it.
How soon do you need to know, Sonny?
The class is in August.
Yeah, it's in August. But we have to get a check done here before too long,
We
and
can-
then they'll fill out.
Yeah,
We're gonna
We
be
can go ahead
getting
and
one.
approve it and then.
Make a reimbursement.
Okay. Jim, or Rebecca? I'll make that motion. That we approve.
Second.
All those- Jim, second. All those in favor say aye.
John is ready.
$750, what was the amount?
What was the amount, Sonny?
700, wasn't it?
$700.
Yeah, 700.
And you're spending
For Aaron on
What's your spending
certified
allowance?
firearms.
Firearms.
What?
Your spending allowance is what?
And then
I think
5.
so.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. I couldn't hear you. Okay, is there any questions for Sonny tonight? Thank you, Sonny.
You're welcome.
Fire Department, Leonard?
I would like to request an executive session, I think we need 10 minutes.
How much?
15.
15 clearly. With the attorney, PAC, and the city council members and the mayor.
And what was the reason?
Attorney-client or personnel?
Personnel.
Unelected.
Non-elected.
Attorney, council, mayor.
I'll move.
Do I have seconds?
I'll say.
Jim, second.
Oh,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. What? I thought you were quick.
Did everybody get these or am I?
No, those were just later.
Here's a special,
I don't
Jim.
know.
Well, I was
Oh,
about,
those are the ones she put in the paper.
Only sign.
What those are.
I'm about to follow.
Okay.
Well, you get things addressed to you all the time. You get more stuff addressed to you.
Insurance, take my sign
Now, these all need,
that way every department has that.
yeah, these all need another signature.
But,
This is for
Oh, see, I have
Merry
it.
Christmas.
I'd be interested.
Drop it.
Anybody that wants to.
Drop
Anybody
it.
wants to have a green
What's
county? I'm against that.
You're
When they have
against it?
gasoline, coal-fired stuff. I don't wanna pay $10 a gallon for gas.
Well, you better talk to the oil people first, everybody.
Yeah, I know.
There's one sitting down there at the end of the table, just green.
Welcome. Your people are in real good shape.
Yeah, you can get it.
Alma brought it back in.
Oh, the council meeting back to order. Is there any questions for Leonard this evening? Is there, oh, Leonard, yes, I'm sorry.
I need the council to remove the personnel that I requested.
Okay.
You have to name names up.
Yeah, you have to.
Jason Bolt, Derek Cooper, Graves.
Yes. Can I have a motion, please?
Second.
Yes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Did you have anything else this evening, Leonard?
No, we may have to, depending on how this deal works out, we may have to get the software to print our pink slips to turn into the state, you know, so we run it through a computer.
State will furnish it.
Yeah, the state will furnish it, but I mean, it's a simple deal. We just have to get that so we can get, you know, keep those furnished to the state, which is mandatory.
Okay. Is there any questions for Leonard this evening? Thank you, Leonard.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Legal, Dawn?
I don't have anything at all.
Well done.
Is there any questions for Dawn tonight? New business, phone system.
Yeah, I just put on the table here some quotes from Embark. I sent them, faxed them the specs off the other one so that we could kind of get the same equipment. Difference is the brand of telephone, I think, is mostly, it's not something you, it's just for you to take home and compare maybe with the other ones and see what you think, but they were actually more in line than I thought they might be, but I haven't even had a chance to really compare them, so we could do something with this another time.
Those people who can see these.
It is pretty small once they
Oh.
fax it.
Well, I've got a magnifying lens that shuts in people who can't see.
Is there any old business?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Thank you.